I'm banned. I'm banned for playing TS. I'm banned for playing TS. I'm banned. I try to restore TS to its former glory, and Mark banned me. Okay, basically what we did with this build is we took the approach of a bow build, which is basically building no defense, except we built defense while building no defense. As you can see, with this build, my total investment into energy shield, which is the equivalent of life, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nodes. That's it. It's like I have 50% life on my tree because of how daughter works, right? Now, the thing is, even though we invested no ES in the tree, we have a 40 divine jewel here called Light of Meaning. And since all the bow nodes are essentially gathered into one area, you can see that this jewel is 102% energy shield. And that's how we get our 11k energy shield for the enchant, right? And with no investment for energy shield on the tree, all your shit is basically just damage. Just damage here, 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 damage, damage here, damage here, damage here, damage here. Like you're just all damage, right? And that's how you can get up to like 10 million per arrow without resorting to some stupid ass like PoB shit. The trade-off is because we can't use gems, I had to like deal with some shit. I went Ellie bow here because I don't want to go hatred and have the energy shield enchant. The energy shield enchant is 5% of your energy shield, which is roughly like 560 cold, which is very good. On the quiver, I went a +1 arrow. Proj speed is okay. Attack speed is probably better, but I got proj speed because I got proj speed, so it's whatever. Like a little bit more attack speed is probably better there, to be honest, but it's what I got. Reforged cold and the cold damage to attacks, and then wed. Fledgling, I think it's like a must-have when you don't have like old Deadeye ascendancy anymore. I feel like even Deadeye have to run fledgling now because Farshot is way too good on TS. Twilight Regalia, easy explanation, big energy shield. You can tell like this armor by itself is like 4,000 energy shield with like nothing on it on this ascendancy. So Phantom Mitts, Fractured Temple mod, very easy to make. You can just transfer any temple mod onto the Phantom Mitts and then use Harvest to change the resistance so you can get the cold and then you can fracture it, right? You need rage to attacks there. You just dense fossil into reforged speed into attack speed. Boots, it's just end suppression, some res, and then 35 movement speed, action speed there. Probably don't need the cooldown recovery rate for travel skills, but whatever. I had to use Hiri's Truth here because I don't have gem sockets. So I could not go Coaling Strikes on my Mana Forge. Usually that's where you get your coal from. The Dex really helped me out for using tattoos. I don't have all the tattoos on the build yet, but the Dex helped without the tattoos, and the Precision also saved me a gem socket, which is also really good, right? And it gave you like 60 multi. So it's pretty good for the build because you just don't have gem sockets. I went with the Synthesis Ring here. Obviously, this is a Calandra's touch. It's just Scorn Essence into Int, and then slam on a res, and then reforge defense, and then Veil Orb. You can, if you get high flat evasion, it's also really, really good. Then you just take this node, right? And then you get all your energy shield back. It's probably better. I just didn't really think about it for a point. Mage Blood. And then I went with Farshot here, and because like +2 is not as good as it was back then. How do I explain this? Okay, let's say you take a gun because you live in America, right? And you close your eyes, and they told you to hold down the trigger, and you spun in a circle. The closer you are to the target means there's going to be more bullet holes in the car, right? Because the car takes more area in front of you the closer you are. And that's the same way tornado shot works, because the projectiles fire in a random direction. If you have more arrows, that means the spread is further, and it has less chance of hitting a target because it consumes less area, right? So I went with Farshot here because it's effectively 30% more damage, which is more damage than you would get with 2 arrows anyways, because if you have like 33% hit rate, like you would still need 3 arrows to get 30% more damage, essentially. So I went with that. Just large clusters, arcing shot, martial prowess, temper arrowheads or broadside on the back so you don't have to use it. 2 crit clusters and 2 streamline repeater for attack speed and projectile speed. Storm Shroud, a Watcher's Eye, and the Light of Meaning I already explained. Basically, that's what I did. I think the build is like, okay, or on PoE. It is tornado shot. It's been nerfed heavily. Like, there's nothing I can do about the attack speed because you could get more attack speed on your quiver, I guess. Like, that's like fine. I think the projectile speed actually feels like pretty decent right now too. So like getting attack speed on your quiver is probably not like terrible. Probably think about that. But yeah, that's overall like what I did. Gems wise, your Mana Forge arrow here, Frenzy, Power Charge on crit for power charges. I went Grace, Flesh and Stone because like I didn't want to use Discipline and I don't have gem sockets. Tornado Shot, Awaken Wed, damage on full life, crit, Mirage Archer, Awaken Fork for clear, and Sniper Smart Mark on hit, right? Like, very, like, easy setup here. And then, since you're a Shrine build, you can still, like, stack Shrines and then, like, go super fast and blast with the build, I feel like. Why do you have Far Shot on Helmet and FF Jewels? There are two different Far Shots. Far Shot has been nerfed on the Deadeye Ascendancy. It does Jewelist, the node is still called Far Shot, but it's not Far Shot mechanic anymore. I wouldn't worry about the collide too much. I used to play Fledgling with freaking like TS all the time. The worst that can happen is that your primary projectile doesn't hit the target, and then your secondary projectile should always hit. But yeah, it shouldn't really matter much. Wolf Forbiddens are 55 divs. Well, they were a div yesterday. Like, don't really worry about it too much. I'm gonna be honest. Like you can use any of the freaking Forbidden Jewels, and like you're like okay. Like Far Shot is good. Tailwind is good. +2 arrows is good, but +2 arrows is always expensive, right? You can even use Ward in Forbidden Jewels and it'd be like, okay. Oath of Spring? Yeah, that thing is kind of good, actually. Now that I think about it. It's good for single target. Like, Oath of Spring is actually really, really good on TS, right? You can use those too. They're probably still really, really cheap. Like, there's like a lot of choices, right? So, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Prismatic Tincture will double your PoB DPS, by the way. Okay, dude. You know what double my PoB DPS? Getting an Echo Shrine and then just like wailing on all the monsters like this. Pre-nerf TS speed? Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, at least like you can still blast with shrines on TS. But then you can like when you have like shrines, you can pretty much blast on anything. But yeah, anyways, it's not too bad. I thought it would be worse, to be honest. I thought it would be a lot worse. I can't imagine like one day, I hope I meet some of you guys IRL so I can like push all my weight on your body and just tackle you and then pin you to the ground and tickle you to death and be like, yeah, am I 87? Am I 87? You're gonna be on the ground going, no, please get off me. You're so big. You're so heavy.